Top 3 fruits that repair brain cells and memory while you sleep after 60. Senior health tips. We often fall into a comfortable, predictable routine as we age. After dinner, dishes done, we settle in for the evening news, a ritual that may have been a constant for decades. It's common to feel tired, perhaps a bit heavy-eyed, and to assume that our stationary bodies mean our brains are also winding down. We tend to think of sleep as a simple power switch, a time when our biological systems shut off to conserve energy. However, modern neuroscience has unveiled a much more complex and vital reality, a revelation that is particularly crucial for individuals over the age of 60. A recently discovered mechanism, known as the glymphatic system, functions as the brain's sophisticated plumbing. Remarkably, this system is approximately 10 times more active during sleep than when we are awake. During deep sleep, our brain cells actually contract, shrinking by about 60%. This contraction creates space, allowing cerebrospinal fluid to circulate throughout the brain tissue, effectively flushing out accumulated toxic proteins like beta amyloid, which build up during our waking hours. If this essential cleansing process is compromised, perhaps due to a lack of specific nutrients required to fuel its operation, these toxic wastes can remain. Over time, this residual waste can solidify, forming plaques that are strongly associated with severe cognitive decline. Therefore, the critical question shifts from merely assessing the quality of our sleep to understanding the efficacy of our brain's self-cleaning process. With over 35 years of experience in geriatric medicine, I have dedicated my career to understanding the nuanced physiological changes that accompany aging. My practice has afforded me a deep appreciation for the intricate mechanisms that govern how we age. Before we delve deeper into the specifics, I would be honored to know who is engaging with this information today. Please consider leaving a comment below, sharing your age and the country from which you are tuning in. I genuinely make an effort to read and respond to these comments, as witnessing a global community of seniors actively pursuing their health is the most profoundly encouraging aspect of my work. Should you find this discussion beneficial, I encourage you to like the video, share it with a friend who may have concerns about their memory, and subscribe to the channel if you are new to our community. We are diligently building a valuable resource for intelligent aging, and your presence is greatly appreciated. It is imperative that we have an open and honest discussion about the profound processes occurring within our skulls once the lights go out. In my clinical experience, I frequently encounter patients who are deeply apprehensive about memory loss. They often seek prescriptions, hoping for the latest synthetic compound that promises to enhance their recall. However, my role often involves redirecting the conversation back to fundamental biochemistry. The aging brain is not necessarily broken. In many instances, it is simply experiencing a form of malnutrition during its most critical work period, which is the night. We will explore 3 common, readily available foods that act as potent bioregulators for this vital cleaning process. These are not obscure superfoods. Rather, they are staples likely present in your kitchen right now, though perhaps consumed at suboptimal times or in ineffective combinations. Let us commence with the first element of this crucial metabolic triad, a fruit that, despite being unfairly maligned by some due to its sugar content, holds the key to the neurochemical stability essential for initiating sleep. I am referring to the banana. Kindly set aside any preconceived notions you may have about potassium and muscle cramps for a moment. From a neurological standpoint, the banana serves as an exceptional delivery system for vitamin B6 and magnesium, 2 compounds that tend to diminish significantly as we age. In our youth, our bodies efficiently convert raw nutrients into neurotransmitters. However, as we surpass the age of 60, the enzymatic efficiency within our gut and brain experiences a decline. This leads to reduced production of serotonin and GABA. GABA, or gamma-aminobutyric acid, is a vital neurotransmitter that functions as the brake pedal for our nervous system. A deficiency in GABA can leave the brain in a state of persistent, low-level electrical excitability. While you might be able to fall asleep, you may not achieve the deep, restorative, slow-wave sleep phase, during which the glymphatic cleaning system operates at its peak. This is precisely where the banana proves its clinical value. It offers a highly bioavailable source of vitamin B6, which is a critical cofactor. think of it as the spark plug, necessary for synthesizing GABA and serotonin. Without adequate B6, the raw materials we ingest simply circulate in our bloodstream. They fail to be converted into essential brain signals. Moreover, the magnesium content in a ripe banana acts as a natural calcium channel blocker. In simpler terms, it prevents an excessive influx of calcium into our nerve cells, which can overstimulate them. It effectively promotes the relaxation of neurological pathways. I have treated numerous patients who describe experiencing racing thoughts the instant their head touches the pillow. This is not necessarily due to anxiety. It is often a physiological inability to downregulate the nervous system. By incorporating this specific nutrient profile approximately an hour before bedtime, we are, in essence, manually replenishing the system's capacity to shift gears, allowing the brain to prepare for rest. However, clinical experience has consistently demonstrated that simply eating a banana is not a panacea if the timing is incorrect. The metabolic window for nutrient absorption is critical. Consuming it too early means the insulin spike may dissipate before sleep onset. Conversely, eating it immediately before closing your eyes can lead to discomfort from reflux and digestive unrest, thereby disrupting sleep quality. The physiologically ideal timing, or sweet spot, is approximately 45 to 60 minutes prior to your intended bedtime. This time frame allows for the digestion of tryptophan, an amino acid present in the banana that serves as a precursor to melatonin, the sleep hormone. In older adults, the conversion of tryptophan to melatonin can be slower due to decreased stomach acid levels. By providing a natural, easily digestible source, we can help bypass some of these age-related digestive challenges. Furthermore, the ripeness of the banana is a significant factor. I advise my patients to select bananas that many might discard, those displaying brown spots on the peel. Scientifically, as a banana ripens, its starches convert into simple sugars, and its antioxidant profile undergoes a transformation. The concentration of available enzymatic compounds increases, making it substantially easier for a senior's digestive system to rapidly absorb the necessary nutrients. For individuals managing diabetes or prediabetes, the glycemic impact is a valid concern. In such cases, I recommend pairing a small portion of banana with a few almonds or walnuts. The healthy fats in these nuts slow down gastric emptying, mitigating the blood sugar spike while still ensuring the delivery of essential neuronutrients. Our objective here is to approach the banana not merely as a food item, but as a precise biochemical intervention. We aim to prime the brain for its nightly restorative duties. By stabilizing the brain's electrical activity with magnesium and supplying the precursors for sleep hormones through B6 and tryptophan, we are effectively unlocking the door for the brain's cleaning crew to commence its work. However, unlocking the door is merely the initial step. Once the brain has entered sleep and the cleansing fluid is in motion, we must address the accumulated debris itself. This brings us to the second significant challenge faced by the aging brain: oxidative stress and inflammation, often colloquially referred to as the rusting of neural connections. To effectively combat this, we must examine a different biological pathway, one that requires a distinct set of compounds found in our next featured fruit. If the banana serves as the key to unlocking deep sleep, we must then consider the mechanisms of repair that are subsequently initiated. As we transition our focus to the second component of our nightly regimen, we must acknowledge a fundamental biological reality. The very process of being alive generates waste. Every thought processed, every memory retrieved, and every neural signal transmitted produces metabolic byproducts, specifically free radicals. These are unstable molecules that can damage the cellular membrane. In younger bodies, we possess a robust internal antioxidant system that efficiently neutralizes these free radicals. However, after the age of 60, this internal defense system begins to slow down, tipping the balance. Free radicals start to accumulate at a rate faster than our bodies can eliminate them, leading to a state of chronic low-grade inflammation within the brain tissue. This is not the overt inflammation you might experience as a swollen knee. It is a silent, microscopic, and profoundly destructive process. It erodes the myelin sheath, the protective insulation around our nerve fibers, which results in slower signal transmission. This is often why, as we age, we don't necessarily lose our intelligence, but rather our processing speed diminishes. We might know the answer, but it takes a few moments longer to access it. This is where the apple assumes a critical role in our clinical discussion. However, it is paramount that we be highly specific about how we utilize this fruit, as many individuals inadvertently discard the most potent medicinal components while consuming only the sugars. The overwhelming majority of the neuroprotective compounds within an apple are concentrated in its skin and the layer immediately beneath it. This includes a powerful flavonoid known as quercetin. Quercetin has garnered significant attention in geriatric research due to its remarkable ability to cross the blood-brain barrier. The blood-brain barrier acts as a protective filter for the brain, shielding it from toxins present in the bloodstream. As we age, this barrier can become compromised or leaky, allowing inflammatory markers to infiltrate the brain and contribute to mental fog and confusion. Quercetin functions almost like a sealant, helping to maintain the integrity of this barrier and safeguarding the delicate neural environment from external inflammatory influences. Furthermore, quercetin has been observed to exert a positive influence on the hippocampus, the brain region responsible for consolidating short-term memories into long-term ones. When patients describe the disconcerting experience of walking into a room and forgetting their purpose, this is often a hippocampal hiccup, a momentary failure of the brain to sustain working memory. By providing a consistent source of quercetin in the evening, we are essentially offering targeted anti-inflammatory support to this specific brain region just as it begins its nightly work of memory consolidation. The benefits of the apple, however, extend beyond the brain itself to encompass the gut. In the context of brain health in the present day, a discussion of the gut-brain axis is indispensable. The vagus nerve establishes a direct connection between our intestines and our brain, facilitating constant communication between these two vital systems. Apples are exceptionally rich in pectin, a type of soluble fiber. Pectin is not broken down in the stomach. Instead, it travels to the colon, where it serves as sustenance for beneficial gut bacteria. These bacteria ferment the fiber, producing short-chain fatty acids, notably butyrate. Butyrate is a fascinating compound that, upon entering the bloodstream, stimulates the production of a protein known as brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. BDNF can be conceptualized as miracle grow for our neurons, promoting the growth of new neural connections and safeguarding existing ones. Thus, by consuming an apple, you are nourishing the gut bacteria, which in turn send chemical signals to the brain to facilitate its repair processes. This creates a vital synergistic loop, particularly important for seniors, whose gut microbiome diversity often declines with age. However, a nuanced paradox exists with apples that requires careful navigation. While the skin is rich in anti-inflammatory compounds, the flesh contains a significant amount of fructose. If you were to consume a large apple immediately before bedtime, the surge of sugar energy could potentially compete with the sleep hormones we have worked to optimize with the banana. Consequently, precise timing is crucial. I advocate for consuming this component of the protocol earlier in the evening, ideally 90 minutes to 2 hours before sleep. This allows sufficient time for the fiber to begin its fermentation process and for the antioxidants to enter the circulation without the accompanying blood sugar spike interfering with the onset of sleep. And I cannot emphasize this enough. Under no circumstances should you consume apple juice. Juicing removes the fiber, particularly the pectin, and delivers a concentrated dose of sugar that leads to insulin spikes and inflammation, the very opposite of our intended therapeutic goals. It is imperative to eat the whole fruit and to chew it thoroughly, initiating the breakdown of the tough fibers in the skin. When we examine the data pertaining to cognitive decline, a recurring correlation emerges with systemic inflammation. Seniors exhibiting elevated inflammatory markers in their blood often demonstrate lower scores on cognitive assessments. The apple, when consumed strategically, acts as a broad-spectrum anti-inflammatory agent. It helps to cool down the body's inflammatory response and prepares the biological terrain for optimal function. If the banana opens the door to sleep, the apple then supplies the essential cleaning agents required to effectively scrub the floors of the brain. Yet, there remains a final critical piece of the puzzle. We have the key and the cleaning agent, but we require a robust transport system. The brain is the most vascular organ in the body, demanding approximately 20% of our blood flow, despite constituting only 2% of our total body weight. If these blood vessels become stiff, narrowed, or damaged, conditions that are regrettably common in later life, nutrients may fail to reach the neurons, and waste products may not be efficiently flushed out. We must ensure that these vital vascular pipes remain open and functional. This leads us to the third essential component, a fruit that is frequently relegated to the breakfast table, but actually performs its most critical neurological work under the cover of darkness. It directly addresses the microvascular health of the brain, ensuring that the oxygen and nutrients we consume are effectively delivered to the targeted tissues. Without this vital vascular support, the efficacy of all our other efforts is significantly diminished. We have established that the brain requires a period of downregulation for sleep, and that it necessitates antioxidants to manage cellular waste. However, as a physician examining the complete physiological profile of a patient over 60, I must also address the brain's fundamental infrastructure, its blood vessels. Small vessel disease is a primary, often silent, contributor to cognitive frailty. As we age, the intricate network of tiny capillaries that nourish our neurons can lose their suppleness and become less efficient. This restricts the delivery of oxygen and essential nutrients, effectively compromising parts of the brain, particularly during the night when blood pressure naturally dips. To counteract this vulnerability, we turn our attention to the humble orange. Most individuals associate oranges and vitamin C primarily with immune support and the prevention of common colds. While this association is valid, it overlooks the pivotal role vitamin C plays in neurological function. The brain maintains a concentration of vitamin C significantly higher than that found in the rest of the body, as it is rapidly utilized during synaptic transmission. It acts as a cofactor in the synthesis of dopamine and norepinephrine, neurotransmitters that are crucial for focus and alertness. However, of even greater relevance to our nighttime discussion, vitamin C functions as a potent scavenger in the aqueous environment of the brain, neutralizing toxins that fat-soluble antioxidants might otherwise miss. But the truly remarkable benefit of the orange for the aging brain lies in a bioflavonoid called hesperidin. Hesperidin is found in high concentrations within the white pith of the citrus fruit, that spongy layer that most people meticulously peel away and discard. Research has demonstrated that hesperidin can significantly improve endothelial function. The endothelium is the delicate inner lining of our blood vessels. When functioning optimally, blood vessels can dilate and relax, facilitating unimpeded blood flow. By consuming hesperidin, we are actively contributing to the maintenance of open and responsive microcirculation within the brain. This is particularly vital during the night, as the lymphatic cleaning system, which we discussed earlier, relies on the pulsating action of blood vessels to drive the flow of cerebrospinal fluid. If the blood vessels are stiff and constricted, the efficiency of this vital pumping mechanism is severely hampered. Therefore, when we incorporate an orange into this evening regimen, we are essentially introducing a vasodilator that actively supports the mechanical flushing and cleansing of the brain. However, much like with the apple, the method of consumption is non-negotiable. It is essential to eat the whole fruit, and it is crucial to retain some of the white pith. Orange juice, frankly, presents a metabolic disaster for most seniors due to the rapid delivery of sugar. A few segments of a whole orange, chewed slowly, provide both the hesperidin and vitamin C within a matrix of fiber that is released gradually into the bloodstream. Now the question arises, how can we seamlessly integrate these three distinct biological interventions into a cohesive evening routine without it feeling like a burdensome chore? We must approach this with a degree of realism. I do not expect you to consume a bowl of fruit salad mere minutes before bedtime, as this could likely lead to digestive discomfort. The key lies in staggering the intake to align with the body's natural digestive rhythms. I suggest conceptualizing this as a sunset protocol. This begins approximately 2 hours before your intended sleep time. This is an opportune moment to consume the apple. Its higher fiber content means that eating it earlier allows the pectin to settle and the fermentation process in the gut to commence without causing bloating that might interfere with sleep. Subsequently, perhaps 45 minutes later, or roughly 90 minutes before bed, you can enjoy a few segments of the orange. This introduces the vascular support, the vitamin C, and the hesperidin to prime the blood vessels for optimal function. Finally, 45 minutes to an hour before you intend to sleep, you can have a small banana. This serves as the final calming signal. The magnesium aids in muscle relaxation, the B6 assists in neurotransmitter synthesis, and the tryptophan initiates the gradual transition towards melatonin production. I understand that for some, consuming 3 different fruits each evening might seem excessive or perhaps introduce too much sugar. If you are managing strict blood sugar controls, it is not necessary to consume the entirety of each fruit. Half an apple, a few segments of an orange, and half a banana are generally sufficient to deliver the active compounds without unduly impacting your glycemic load. The paramount factor here is consistency. Biology thrives on rhythm. By adhering to this protocol repeatedly, you are effectively training your circadian clock. Your body will begin to anticipate this nutrient influx and will prepare the necessary enzymatic pathways for efficient utilization. In my extensive